Hey everyone, it's Bethany. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I am going to just really slow down in this video, get a few crafts done that have been on my craft list for a while. But while I'm doing so, I was on Instagram and I asked you all if you had any questions that you wanted to see in a Q&A. And I collected all those questions and today I'm going to answer all of them. So if you're not following me on Instagram, be sure to head to the description box below because that is where you can find my Instagram information. You can go follow me over there. I'm trying to do a little bit more over there, but I'm also going to be sharing a little bit more about how I decorate with some of the things that you see on my craft table. So in this video today, I'm picking 10 things that I really need to get out of my craft room. I need to get them done. And while doing so, we are just going to slow down and answer some of your most pressing questions. As a reminder, everything that you see me using today will be linked down in the description box below the video. If for some reason you don't see it, it's simply because I purchased it so long ago that I couldn't find a link for it. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I can't wait to answer some of these questions that you've been asking. Okay, so I went ahead and organized the questions that I'm going to be going over tonight, and I kind of categorized them in sections, right? So that the video would just flow really well and we can kind of talk about like items together. But also I really wanted to craft while we were chatting. So this is going to be a really slow video. It's going to turn out being a longer video, but that's what this is going to be all about, is just sitting back, relaxing, crafting, and answering all of the questions that you have been wondering about. So if I don't go over your question, it probably means that I felt like it made for a better video in and of itself. So if I got some questions that were pretty repetitive, then I'm probably going to just turn those into a tutorial or an inspiration for a tutorial. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We are going to be making a really cute tote bag. Actually, we're going to be decorating a tote bag. And I just showed you these tote bags recently on my channel. We did these for Halloween when I did our trick-or-treat bags for this season. So I had some extras and I thought that I would make one tonight because I have a really pretty piece of patterned HTV. And I also have a design that I've really been wanting to use. So we're just going to sit back and craft and get some of these questions out of the way. Okay, so the first question, and these actually are not in any order, but the first question that we're going to go over tonight is, how do you plan your day with kids, YouTube, and crafts? And let me focus for a second. Okay, so that one's actually pretty easy for me, but it didn't mean that it didn't take time to kind of get into my rhythm with doing that. So essentially all day, the whole time the kids are awake, I'm mama, right? And I do all things mama during the day. And then my time for doing crafting and YouTube is at night. So when the kids are asleep. Now, when I first started my channel, many of you remember, if you remember that long ago, well, it wasn't a long time ago, it was 2 years ago. This is a baby channel. But I used to craft in the morning. I would get up at like 5 in the morning and film a couple tutorials, and that would just kind of be me time. Since then, I have found that doing it at night is much easier. And for another reason, I had my third child, and my first two children were really good morning sleepers. So I'm talking like 8 a.m. they would sleep religiously until 8 a.m. So that gave me a good chunk of time in the morning, right? To get up. If I got up at 5, I could get a lot of stuff done in 3 hours. But along came my little boy, and he is a farmer. We call him Farmer because he likes to rise between 5 and 5:30. And I lost my morning time, right? So now I am an evening crafter, and sometimes on the weekends, I'm able to sneak in a little bit of crafting if just the schedule works out, right? Because I do like to obviously do a lot of family stuff on the weekends. And we have lots of activities as these kids are growing. But sometimes it is nice to get a couple things done during the day on the weekend as well. So most of the time it's at night, and probably sometimes you can tell when I'm filming that I am exhausted because once the kiddos go to bed, then it's work time for me, and that can be, a few hours into the evening. So, okay, look at this beautiful SVG. This says faith can move mountains. I have a little one that's here. Now with pattern HTV, at least the Cricut kind, it's this, the carrier sheet is not sticky. So you kind of have to be careful with, if your pieces come up, then you have to be careful because they don't stick down as well. But I think that's really pretty. I think the pattern is super pretty as well. So we're going to go ahead and press this on the shirt, or on the tote bag. Okay, another question was, how do you balance motherhood and finding time to craft and create content? So that's pretty similar to the first question. So honestly, it's just after bedtime or during nap time. So when kiddos are at school and baby is napping, I am able to do a little bit of planning during the day. Again, I like to keep my filming in the evenings at night because I can do a lot of planning with, you know, kiddos surrounding me. That's pretty easy. I can just sit on the playroom floor and bring my laptop at times and get a lot of stuff done that way. But filming is definitely an after bedtime chore. Another question was, how do you craft with little kids around? I have a hard time getting organized, is what another one mentioned. I don't usually craft a lot with my kiddos around. Again, I will do a lot of content planning with the kiddos around, and I do have a little space in my craft area for my kids to come down and color, but I don't do any actual filming or crafting with them around just because they're little and you know, it's hard. They want to chit chat and I want to chit chat with them too. So a lot of the time when they're down here, I'm either finishing up editing a video, getting things ready or prepped for another video, or doing a lot of behind the scenes work, because there is a lot of behind the scenes computer work and all of that jazz that comes with having a YouTube channel. So not necessarily crafting with the kids around, but I can do a lot of the other odds and ends that can allow me to multitask easier when I have the kiddos with me. Okay, I'm still waiting for the heat press to heat up. It's almost there. We're just a few degrees away. So I'll answer one more question, then we'll heat this onto the bag. Question number 4 was, how do you find the time to craft? I only have one kiddo and you make it look easy. I definitely don't find it easy to find the time, but I have found a schedule that works for me, right? And I think that that is really important when you can just find something that works for you, and that's going to look different for anybody. Now, I may make it look easy, but sometimes it's really not. The schedule does help, and usually if I vocalize to my husband, you know, I need to get these 3 things done this weekend, it's really helpful for both of us because we both know what each other needs to achieve that week, and then we can really help support one another's goals. So sometimes it's not all on me, it's also me asking for help and saying, okay, I really need, you know, Thursday evening after dinner, I need a 2 to 3 hour stretch. Do you mind putting the kiddos to bed, or, you know, doing a movie night so that I can really achieve tonight? So a lot of my helpfulness definitely comes from just having clear communication with my hubby too. And not all weeks are like that. Very rarely do I get down here during wake time with the kiddos to get things done. But every once in a while, I definitely need to if I'm having a busier week, and he's super supportive in helping me achieve that because he knows that this is really fun for me. This is kind of how I build in mommy time. This is how I build in some downtime for myself. It's work, but it is something that brings me so much joy, so it's really fun work for me, right? And so when he sees that it helps to fill my cup, that makes it easier for him to really help me out and prioritize time for me to get down here every once in a while to just really have some intentional time to myself. Let's heat this up. I have my heat press at 340 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to press this for 30 seconds. I'm gonna let it cool and then we'll peel it up and we'll see how it does. Okay, so you saw me preheat this just to reduce any moisture or wrinkles on the bag before heating this up. And then I also did lint roll this. So I am just gonna place this on my mat because it's nice and cool. That helps draw the heat out really, really well. And then we will peel this up. So another question I got, and I got this a couple times, was what's your favorite type of crafting? And that is such a difficult question for me because I really enjoy doing a variety of things. And you know, I really pride myself on the fact that I enjoy so many aisles of the craft store. I cannot just stay in one section. I love to learn, and I think that's pretty evident on my channel. I like to bring fresh new things because I'm a learner. I like doing new things. I like to challenge myself, and I like learning new things. I know I just said that a million times in a row, but I really do. I find it really thrilling to start learning new things and starting new hobbies because it's just so refreshing. I can get bored easily, so after a while, I feel like once I have accomplished something or I've you know, learned all I can about a craft, I feel like I kind of get bored with it. It's not to say that I don't want to do it anymore, but it means that I want to continue doing it, but I also want to introduce something else into my life and into my craft room because I really like the learning aspect of crafting. I find it really refreshing. There's a quote out there somewhere that says something about we never stop learning, or wouldn't it be sad if we stopped learning, something like that. I'm totally missaying it, but that's me to a T. I just love to learn. So all that being said, I really, really do love vinyl and heat transfer vinyl crafts. That's how I kind of got back into crafting. I'm not gonna say that's how I got started with crafting, but it's how I got back into crafting. But really lately I've been really enjoying getting back into paper crafting. It's the thing that I actually started on when I first started crafting way back in my teen years. Paper was my thing. So it's just really refreshing to kind of come full circle and get back into kind of how I started, if you will. Okay, I love how this turned out. I love the variation in colors. I love that nice blue, but then we have the nice kind of turquoise or aqua teal. I just think this is so pretty. So I am hoping to give this as a gift. I am starting to create a pile in my craft room of gifts. So every once in a while, I will come down to the little basket that I have put together. It's really handy too if you accidentally forget a birthday, or if all of a sudden a teacher has a birthday or something. It's nice to have a little pile of things that you have created. I love having just a little pile of things because sometimes I do make things and then I kind of sit here and think, who do I want to give this to? Sometimes I don't make things with people in mind just yet. Okay, another question was, why did you decide to make YouTubes? Your setup looks so professional, and was it like that from the beginning? All right, let's grab the next craft and I will start speaking on that. On craft number 2, I am going to be doing a reverse canvas. I love doing reverse canvas, and I think they are just so fun, and they're just a really fun way to take these common items that you find at Target, at Dollar Tree. In fact, I picked up some from Dollar Tree just this evening. Now this one is from Target, but I am interested to see how the Dollar Tree one turns out, and you'll see that soon on my channel. So I love doing that. I think it's just really, really fun, and it's a really fun way to use a canvas. So if you've never seen a reverse canvas, they are so easy, but as we go through these questions, you'll just see me bring this to life. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take some type of X-Acto knife. I have a True Control knife by Cricut here, and you're going to score on the outer side of the staples. Now don't go on the inside because the staples are holding it together. So if you go on the inside, that's really not going to do anything. You want to score on the outside because we are removing the canvas from this wooden frame, and we're going to reveal that frame and actually make it part of the piece. Right now it's a part of the piece in that it helps this canvas wrap around it, but we are going to reveal it and actually have it be more of a focal point, if you will. So I'm just going around, and you have to give a little bit more pressure in the corners naturally because the canvas is folded on top of one another. So you're going to want to do that. Okay, okay, let me think again. Why did you decide to make YouTube videos? Your setup looks so professional. was it like that from the beginning? Okay, so honestly, God had his hand in this whole idea for YouTube. If you were to ask me a few years ago that I would be doing YouTube, I probably would be so confused, because a few years ago I was barely even on YouTube. I didn't really even watch YouTube or anything like that, right? Honestly, a few years ago, I feel like YouTube was just kind of for watching funny little clips here and there. But I didn't really realize how educational YouTube was. And I love that about YouTube. I think it is so fun. In fact, my husband and I barely watch TV anymore. I mean, we have our shows, but we both have channels on YouTube that we just watch, because my husband, like me, is a learner. Really, really loves to learn new things. We both are big into hobbies, which is so awesome because we understand each other so well in that respect. So when I want to start something new or bring something new or invest in something new, he is just all in because he totally gets that. Okay, so again, God had his hand in this because in the winter of 2019, I had 2 children at that point. And I was running my very own pretty successful photography business. I did family photography and lifestyle newborn photography, and I was very busy. And naturally, when being a photographer, my busy times were weekends. And I was really struggling with that because we were a young family at the time. And well, we're still a very young family, but let's see, my kids were like 3 and 1 at that point. Yeah, 3, maybe 3 and 2 at that point. I think 3 and 2. And I was struggling with the fact that I was gone on the weekends. Now, I wasn't gone on the weekends, but my client work really interfered with family time. And that was hard because clients want you on the weekends because that is their time when they can get their photos done. And so it was hard because my husband would work all week. And then we would kind of switch, right? And he would help take care of the kids on the weekend while I would take, 2 to 3 sessions each weekend. And, in hindsight, I was only really gone for, probably 6 hours a weekend, but that's a lot of time, I think. And regardless, my heart was just kind of done with my photography business. I loved it for the time I had it. I had it for 6 years. It was a really, really fun chapter in my life, but I was just naturally searching for something new. So in 2019, it was the winter of 2019, I decided that I am not going to take any clients in 2020, right? Okay, and you all know the year 2020, right? And little did we know, at least my family didn't even know what was going to happen in 2020. I had no idea about the pandemic. My husband and I don't watch the news because it's just not a very positive place. So obviously we know about current events, but we weren't really, worried about the pandemic at that point. So the pandemic had nothing to do with me deciding to quit my photography business or just put it on hold. And that's why I just know God had his hand on it, because he knew what I didn't know. And so in 2020, so back up to summer of 2019. I know this is a life story, but summer of 2019, I had a kiddo who was just starting preschool, and in the fall. And I was really into the idea of monogramming things for her. Like, I wanted her lunchbox to be monogrammed. I wanted like all of the things to be labeled really prettily for her for preschool. First kid going through school, right? So, and I'm still that way every time the kiddos start school or in any activity. So now I'm just taking out this canvas and I'm taking my time because we're chit-chatting. So I started looking into a Cricut, and I did have a Cricut, like the original Cricut. So they were not very impressive back in the day. They just basically did paper, and they weren't impressive, right? And so I didn't really use it, and I ended up selling it. But I was telling my husband, I kind of want to get back into cricketing because it looks like they can do so much more now. And I had a friend that was into Cricut stuff, and she was always making really fun shirts for Bible study. So I thought, how fun would this be to be able to make shirts? I mean, it was just, I thought this was just so cool, right? So I told my husband, I kind of want to get back into crafting, but what if I film tutorials? Now I kind of have a background in teaching, right? I got my degree in elementary education, so naturally I do love teaching others. But also when I had my photography business, I was always doing photography tutorials, and I wrote, gosh, I can't even remember how many ebooks I have. I'll have to check my blog. I have a lot of ebooks that I wrote that teach others how to do photography, right? So I was trying to find a way that I could kind of justify this cost. I thought, well, what if I, start a channel and just kind of teach people how to do things? I mean, how hard can that be, right? Anyway, once I kind of decided that I was going to stop my photography business, this kind of just naturally lined up. So in December of 2019, I decided to come down to my little craft table that I had down here, and I filmed my first tutorial, and I was just hooked. So you can't, now another part of that question was my setup like this from the beginning? No, it wasn't. I had just a table and a little set of drawers, if you will. And I don't want to say just, because that was all I needed. And I did my channel for a very long time on just one table and a little chest of drawers. And then naturally I felt that it was actually my husband's idea. He kind of saw what was happening with my YouTube and thought, I think, you need to have a really intentional space. And he was the one who actually decided that we should kind of remodel the basement and rearrange it to have a more purposeful space for myself, which I'm super thankful for. But also, he was the one who encouraged me that I needed to do like interviews and stuff like that, just to kind of make it even more professional on my channel. So really, behind the scenes, my hubby is so helpful. And originally I just wanted to use an iPhone. I kept telling my husband, I just want to use an iPhone just to do this. iPhones are amazing. But then, it just didn't make sense because I know how to use professional DSLRs and high-end cameras. So it was just natural that I used the gear that I had to bring that forth into filming. So check out on my channel, I do have a craft room tour of what my space looked like before I kind of upgraded into this. So, okay, we have now I took my time with that. It usually doesn't take that long, but I thought, why not when we are just chit-chatting here. So we have this really, really nice canvas here. And now we have revealed this really nice frame. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to place a little iron-on design on the canvas and make it all pretty. So I'm going to set this to the side, and I'm going to bring in just some iron-on. I have it in just a nice black, and I found this SVG. I'll link it down below. It's so pretty. And I've actually had this saved in my favorites for so long, and I thought I would use it. So anyway, that is how I decided to start my YouTube channel. Again, God had his hand in it, because little did we know in 2020 that we would be home. And my photography business, I mean, I know a lot of people did continue to make their photography businesses really work during the pandemic, but I know myself and I wouldn't have been comfortable with that. So my photography business would have, been on hold regardless for the pandemic. So I am so thankful. He knew exactly what was going to happen. And when my heart was kind of saying, I'm kind of feeling done with the photography chapter of my life, I felt like, that nudge was there for a reason. And I also think that, God helped me to place this new chapter into my life, because crafting really helped me during the pandemic. And I know that it really helped a lot of you, because so many of you have told me so during this pandemic, how you know, tutorials have helped you stay inspired or learn something new, or, you know, begin something new. And so I just really feel like, wow. I mean, it's never lost on me his perfect timing, right? Because I was able to really keep motivated and busy and positive. And, you know, of course the pandemic was never easy, but having a channel and knowing that others were depending on me to post or depending on me to inspire them, that gave me a really, really healthy nudge to just, I don't know, stay positive and stay encouraged. And so as much as many of you have told me that, you know, my channel really helped you during the pandemic, it really helped me too. And I'm just really grateful for it. Another question is, how do you balance buying craft supplies for particular projects versus buying because on sale? This, oh gosh, you know, I'm shopping my craft room in 2022, which is the year of, that we're filming in right now, right? So this year is 2022. I'm saying this because if you're watching this a couple years in the future, you're probably wondering when that was. But this year I am shopping my craft space. I generally only kind of shop sales for like wood blanks or for t-shirts. Okay, so I feel like those are the kind of sweet spots for me, right? Where I'm like, okay, I really can't say no. If it's a wood blank or a t-shirt and it's on sale, because I kind of feel like you can never go wrong, right? You're always going to need a shirt for something, or at least in my house, we always can need a shirt for something. And for wood blanks, there's always something to create, right? But I really did build up a stash. And so now I'm really doing much better about not shopping when I don't need. But to be fair, now my stash is kind of dwindling. So now I kind of feel like I'm back in that mode a little bit of, if something's on sale, I will kind of stock up because I know that I'll use it down the line, right? Again, that's only for certain things, you know, especially, you know, mugs and things like that, because I do a lot of teacher gifts and you would always use stuff like that. So if you know you're going to use it and it's something that you craft with a lot, then I kind of feel like the sales are really worth it, because why spend more money down the line if you know it's on sale now and you know you're going to use it. Now, if you're kind of on the fence on whether you're even going to use it and you're just kind of buying it because it's on sale, then, you know, I may think twice about that. Although it's sometimes that's hard to say no to. I love a good sale. So yes, great question. Another question was, can you share how you decorate with what you create? And I have been trying so much to do that over on Instagram. So I hopped back on Instagram about a month ago-ish. So go ahead and follow me over there. My handle is exactly like it is here. It is at Bethadilly. And so you can find me over there, and I'm trying my best to post, you know, a little bit more behind the scenes, either what's happening in my craft space. That's also where I hosted this little Q&A where I collected all of the questions for this. And I'm also trying to do a little bit better about, you know, sharing images of what my crafts are doing after they leave my craft table. So check me out over there. I promise to try, right? I promise that I'm going to do my best to be pretty active over there, but I'm not perfect. So, you know, I'll do my best. Okay, so the next thing on the question list was, you are creating a niche for your style of craft, which I'm so excited. I love that people have said that they can instantly tell, you know, my videos and my crafts right away, that I kind of have my own thing going on, which is really fun. So thank you. Okay, so the next part of that question was, do you have any plans to partner with big corporations? So I will tell you that I get a lot of emails weekly, daily, and so I say this to tell you that if I do partner with somebody, which I am going to be starting to kind of do a little bit more collaboration in 2023, which you'll see on my channel. But knowing that, I say no to a lot of offers and a lot of inquiries. So I wanted you to know this, because when you do see me bring a brand or, you know, a collaboration to my channel, that means I really wanted to do it, because I say no a lot. And part of that is because I really kind of like to do my own thing. It keeps it fun, and it keeps the pressure down when I can just kind of craft when I want. And I've always really liked that. And I've kind of been really excited that I've built my channel just kind of by myself. But naturally, I think it's also fun to, you know, have community with other people. And so I am excited about some of the things I'm going to be doing in the new year. But just know that, like, when I do that, I'm really excited about that, because I don't say yes a lot. So when I do say yes, it's because I've been waiting and waiting to partner with some people. So that is the answer to that. And the next question is, when did you start crafting? So I started crafting in high school. My now husband was my first boyfriend in high school. We met when I was 15 and he was 16. And so naturally, the year that he was going off to college, I'm having trouble keeping this little piece inside here. I'll have to maybe come back to that. I don't want it to tear. Naturally, we were a year apart. So the year that he went to college, I was going to stay behind because I needed to finish one more year of high school before joining him in college. So I thought it would be really nice to make him a scrapbook. And so I collected kind of all of our pictures that we had taken together up until that point, and I went to a little scrapbooking store and created this really fun little memory scrapbook for him for, I think it was his, I can't remember if it was his graduation present or if it was kind of like his I'm heading to college present. But that was kind of the beginning of it. I made this scrapbook and I realized how much fun I had, and it was just really fun. So again, paper crafting, right? I started with paper, and scrapbooking ended up being my story for a very long time. When I went off to college, I joined a sorority and I ended up being the historian for a while. And so I did a scrapbook for the sorority, which was super, super fun. And then when my husband and I married, I scrapbooked our entire wedding, and then I ended up also scrapbooking the first, let me count, 4 to 5 years of our life together. I think that's about right. And then it kind of stopped on a dime, which is crazy. Like all of a sudden, I mean, I would scrapbook every weekend, and I think it's because I was working a lot and scrapbooking was my way to kind of just relax from work. But then we made a move and I was able to be blessed with quitting my job. And you'd think in that time, right, that I would have more time to scrapbook. But I guess I think it really was just kind of the way I relaxed from work, because then I just found, you know, when I wasn't working, I didn't really need any relaxing time, right? I wasn't stressed out. And oh gosh, I'm really struggling with this piece. I feel like it didn't cut it correctly. So I ended up, honestly, I stopped, and it's crazy to think about, but I stopped and then I didn't really even miss it. So I'm thankful for the books that I did create, but you know, I feel like crafting has its seasons, and mine just kind of lived its season for, you know, a good 5+ years. Well, longer than that if you count starting in high school. But, and then it kind of naturally stopped for a little bit. Okay, I think I got that. Now I need to do just a little bit of surgery. Okay, so Started crafting in high school. That's the answer. That's a long-winded answer to that question. But it also kind of sets the tone for some other questions that will be coming a little bit later in this video about kind of paper crafting. So this is a really cute SVG. Again, I'll link it down below. Now I'm trying to find all the little straggler pieces. You want to make sure you get all of those. But I've been wanting to do this for a while, so I grab that. Come here, little cutie pie. Okay. And I'm going to completely remove these from my surface because I don't want those to cling to my carrier sheet. Okay, so goodbye, goodbye. This says fresh soap and water, 5 cents, hand towels additional. I thought that was so cute. So what's going to happen here is we are going to place, let me get this all straight. We're going to place this right in here. So really, we just need to make sure we have some, we don't need to center it because we'll center it later, right? But we just need to make sure that we have some equal canvas around the frame, which I think that looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and heat this and press this onto the surface. Again, finding all those little pieces because I don't want anything additional to press on. But then after we heat this on, we will go ahead and reassemble this frame. Okay, so once more, now don't worry if this is not completely straight, because again, we're just going to kind of straighten the frame to match the design, but isn't that cute? Now you can take this a step further and actually either paint, or you could, what's the word I'm thinking of? Again, I craft late at night. I film quite late at night, so then I get sleepy. You can stain. Stain's the word I'm looking for. You can stain these as well if you wanted that look. I really like the fresh look. It's just really me. So naturally, I'm going to share what I really like. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and just peel. And it just peels like butter. It's so awesome. I love doing these. So fun. And then it just looks so fresh. Okay, so again, do not worry about it being crooked on here because we're going to finalize it and straighten it up here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, well, how did I do this last time? I feel like the last time I did this, I got a workflow that was awesome. I feel like I centered it how I wanted it, and then I traced it with a pen. Okay, so I'm just going to trace with the pen, and I'm just placing a mark on the canvas. Okay, and it doesn't need to go like all the way around. I just kind of need a general idea of where I'm at. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to take some scissors, and these will be just fine. And I'm going to cut on the inside of that line, right? So about 1/4 inch on the inside. And I'll just trace that around. Okay, so another question number 11. I have been following you since pre-kiddos and wonder, are you still photographing professionally? So I'm not. I really enjoyed that chapter, but I also found it really easy to say goodbye to that chapter, and I will always cherish it. It was so fun. I loved my business, but you know, it's the right move when you just, you know, your heart is just saying, I'm done. It was fun and it's time for the next thing, right? It's just refreshing to end on a note like that. So I'm not photographing professionally. I still have clients reach out and really, really want to, but I have been really good. I'm a people pleaser, okay? And it's really hard for me to say no, but I have been really proud of myself because I have stayed true to, you know, my chapter and the path that I'm on, and have, you know, said, I'm sorry, but not at this time, because I'm just really content with where I'm at, and it's really, really working for my family. So I love it because I can still, you know, have a fun little business with this YouTube and still be able to you know, have something for myself, but I can do it after bedtime. I don't have to really leave my house to do it, which is really, really awesome because I can be a little bit more, I'm an introvert extrovert, if that makes sense. Is it possible to be both? Because I'm definitely both, and I'm a homebody. So the fact that I get to have this much fun and stay home is, it will never be lost on me. Okay, so that is how that's going to look. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to preheat my hot glue. I'm going to get this all cleaned up. Let's keep this nice and tidy. I'm going to preheat my hot glue, and then we're going to glue this down to the frame. Okay, so that is going to preheat. Now, side note, there are so many ways you can do a reverse canvas. I have done them a few ways on my channel. So you can staple this to the back, right? You can go ahead and secure that with staples. You can also do push pins. There's so many ways. So you go ahead and run with that in any direction that makes you feel the most confident with your reverse canvas. I've recently fallen in love with the idea of hot glue, and it really does a nice job, and it really gives a nice polished look on the back. So I'm just going to keep on that little route. Okay, so the next question was, will you ever do photography tutorials again? You inspired me so much. So I did speak to this earlier, in case so many of you just know me as a crafter, but a lot of you also were on my photography journey with me long before I even knew that YouTube was going to be a thing. So I did a lot of photography tutorials. I wrote ebooks and obviously had my business, but I really enjoyed every aspect of that. So I don't want to say never, but I'm really content with where I'm at. And I kind of feel like I just lived that season, and I'm happy with that season. I'm happy with, you know, everything that I accomplished during it, and then also how I ended it, if that makes sense. So I don't want to say never, but I'm really just content now, right? I don't know how else to say that. So I guess I'm politely saying probably not. Okay, so the next question was, I know you have a sublimation oven. Do you have any videos where you have used it? And I absolutely do. If you go to my channel, there is a little magnifying glass that's up on the little search bar, and that will open up a little search area where you can write, and you can just put keywords in there, and if I do have a tutorial on that, then it will pop up. But if you use that little search bar that's on my channel, it's only going to search my channel. So look for the little magnifying glass, just type in sublimation oven, and anywhere that I have used the sublimation oven, those videos will pop up, and they're really cute. So I really have enjoyed the sublimation oven so far. I really have to admit though that I don't use it a lot. I thought I'd use it more. I really am just loving my mug press, and for me and how I craft, the mug press just kind of does everything that I need it to, because I don't do a whole lot of other things. I don't do a lot of tumblers. I tend to just do a lot of mugs and other smaller things. So I do love the sublimation oven. However, I will say I don't use it a lot. Okay, the next question is, did you find a sewing machine? And I am happy to say, okay, what I'm going to do is I am going to grab extra glue. Okay, extra glue, and got my little glue llama. My friend gave this to me as to like hold a succulent or a plant, but I'm not good with plants. I have one plant in my house that I've had for, okay, hold on, let me do math, 2.5 years. I got it right when the pandemic began. And that plant I have done splendidly with. It is my favorite ever, but I'm generally not a good plant girl. So I use my little plant llama as a glue llama. Okay, so I'm going to do the bead of glue there. Then I'm actually going to stand over and really center this. So you're going to see my head for a second. I think that's good. So what I'm going to do is just press that down. Okay, and then I'm going to flip this over and then really press on this back part. And the canvas is, oh, I think I might have waited too long, but I know I have that lined up. So I'm just going to add some more here. I waited a little too long, and that glue is going to dry, but canvas is easy to stretch as well. So once I get that down, I can pull really nicely. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull on the opposite end, and I already can see I need to just trim this just a little bit. We don't need that much. And you can take all of these staples off the back if you wish. As you can see, they're going to be covered, so I choose not to worry about it. Okay, there we go. Or for the most part, they're going to be covered. Okay, so then I like to go opposite, and I like to turn it all the way over because I feel like I pull away from my body better, if that makes sense. So I'm going to do the opposite end, and we're just going to pray that this lines up because this has some very definitive lines on it, right? But, you know, we're just going to have fun. If it works, it works. If not, we still had a great time. Okay, pulling. And maybe I won't pull like a ton because of those lines. I don't want to distort the lines. You see? Oh, that looks good. No, I like it. Okay, now I'm just going to really be gentle on the sides. And I'm also going to just trim just a little bit. Okay, next question. Oh, did you find a sewing machine? I did. It is about 3 weeks old. I'm not going to share details on it just yet because honestly, I've had it for 3 weeks and I haven't turned it on yet because life has just been so busy. So once I turn it on and kind of play around with it, I'll share more details. And the only reason is because I don't want you to run out and get it thinking that because I have it that, you know, I love it. I want to make sure that I really, really love it before I share what I purchased. So it's important to me that I do that because I just want to make sure that I like it. Everything that I share on my channel, I want to make sure that I really love. Okay, so more details on that soon. So I'm just going to press this down and then we'll move on to the next side. Okay, next question is, what made you choose the Baby Lock embroidery machine over the others? So I started following Carly Bell. I will link her channel down below. When I was pregnant with my little boy, with our third and last baby, and I saw that she had a certain embroidery machine and I really, really liked it. And the Baby Lock that I got is like the equivalent of the one that she had. So I just really liked the look of the Baby Lock. It was the same, essentially I think the same machine as her brother. I'm pretty sure that they're just like the equivalent, but I liked the look of the Baby Lock. I liked just how nice and clean it looked. So I went with the Baby Lock version of it. I do want to mention the reason that I got mine, the style of it, like the free arm, is because I knew I wanted to make a lot of shirts. And so originally I was going to just get a really entry-level embroidery machine. And my husband actually ended up talking me out of it because essentially, and there's nothing wrong with getting introductory machines, right? But we both felt that I was going to grow out of it quick. So it's kind of a little bit wasteful if you know you're probably going to grow out of it quickly and you're going to want to upgrade to just upgrade in the first place. And that's not for everybody. And I know that you always want to just, you know, start with what you can afford. But, you know, I really, really prayed on that machine and waited until the right time. And then I got the machine that I wanted right in the beginning. And I'm really grateful because I know that if I would have gotten a smaller machine to start out with, I would have outgrew it in like months. I want to say like 2 to 3 months because I just really went quickly with that hobby. I really love it. Okay, this is the final look. How cute is this? I love this. I think it's so pretty, and that is nice and tight in there. And it's so pretty, so you can either just place it on a shelf. I don't know. You probably could add some hardware on the back if you wanted to hang it. You absolutely could. But I love this. I think this is so cute. Okay, I want to make a little shirt for my little one, and I picked a lot of pinks from my scrap bin, and that makes me so happy because I'm going to bring a whole shirt together from scrap pieces that initially were going to be thrown away. So I found this cute design. I'll link it down below if you want to recreate this look. But I thought this would be really cute in kind of an ombre look of pink. The next question I had was, I'm looking to buy an embroidery machine for the first time. Do you have any tips on brands and specs? I actually don't. All I can say, because I didn't spend a lot of time learning about each and every brand. All I know is what I have. And so all I can really recommend is what I have, because it's the only thing that I've worked with, right? So I know that I love my Baby Lock. Absolutely love it. It's one of my best purchases, and I'll link it down below, as well as everything else that I use in my craft room. But I absolutely love my Baby Lock. So I can't really give any opinion on anything else because I don't know anything else. So I'm not comfortable doing that. But all I can tell you that I have never regretted my purchase. Okay, so the first, I think I got it all. I'm just trying to make sense. Okay, first little line says cool. And this is so fun because it's like a little, like retro hippie look to it, right? Okay, the next question, I'm doing kind of like a grouping of questions. So all of these were kind of embroidery related. So the next question was, will you be doing more embroidery videos? Love to learn more about that. I will. So naturally, oops, I think I cut this flower off a little too soon. Oh, maybe both of them. I think it'll still be okay. Yes, I will. I kind of go in phases with what I want to craft with at the time. And one thing that I will say about myself is that when I am really, really inspired with something, I feel like I'm giving you my best self and I'm bringing my best crafts to you. So if you don't see something for a little bit on my channel, it just means I'm not really inspired at the time, either with making something with it. It's not to say that, you know, I'm not into my embroidery machine right now, but I really like the freedom of being able to really run in any direction that I'm currently really feeling with what's on my craft table, right? Because if I had a YouTube channel or not, that's how I would operate, right? I would be crafting with what I want to do at the time. So yes, you will see more embroidery videos. I'm just kind of waiting until I'm inspired to create something with it, right? So, and I have been using it behind the scenes, and follow me over on Instagram because that's kind of where I share a lot of that. So I'm working on a little Halloween bench pillow right now. I don't think it's going to get done in time for Halloween, but you know what? I'm having fun with it, and that's what I have to remind myself. Okay, this one says girls, and I think I got all of the little pieces there. Cool girls. Okay, the next thing is, can we get an update on your quilt making and Babs? Well, sure. So my quilt is still unfinished. I was waiting on my sewing machine. My sewing machine that I had before just was not going to be big enough to be able to sew all of that together. I know I could do it, but I think it would have been a challenge. So I had been really having it on my heart to upgrade my sewing machine for a while. A lot of things kind of got in the way of that. Naturally, like life things happen, and I had to put that on the back burner for a little bit in terms of upgrading, but I was able to do that a few weeks ago. So now naturally I'm hoping in these winter months that I can kind of finish some of those unfinished projects and get them both off of my heart and off of my craft list. So you'll see I probably honestly, because I kind of like to craft in the season that I'm in. So for my spring quilt, I probably will actually wait until spring to finish it, just because it just gives all the spring vibes. And I don't know, I think it's just, oh, I think I'm missing a little piece. Let's see. Yep, there it is. There's a little piece to this that I want to keep. Okay, hold on. Okay, there's a little dot to my, oh, I guess I don't have my tweezers. I moved all my tweezers over to my stamping stuff, and now, okay. Oh, let's see if we can get that back on. It's just a little middle to that flower. Okay, there we go. All right. There we go. I fixed it. Okay, cool girls love. Okay, did I answer that question? Okay, so yes, quilting is not finished, but it was just on hold until my new sewing machine got here. Okay, the next question was, do you only use Kimberbell medium cutaway stabilizer? If not, what other brands? I do not only use that stabilizer. I use a variety of brands and a variety of different types of stabilizer based on what project I'm doing. So I would use different stabilizer for a t-shirt than I would for a quilt, or that I would for, you know, an in the hoop project. So it's impossible for me to go over each and every stabilizer that I use because it depends on the project in front of me. But I will tell you that if you go to my embroidery videos, I do link all of the materials that I use in each video. So if you are working on a project that's similar to the one I'm working on, then you'll see what stabilizer I use for that particular project. Okay, just purchased an embroidery machine is the next question. And what would you say are your must-haves to get started? Okay, so this is the final question for the embroidery machine section. And I would say my must-haves are a good pair of scissors. I will link the ones that I have down below. I got the Kimberbell set and I love them. Gosh, it kind of depends on what you're using your embroidery machine for, because each kind of project kind of calls for different things. But I would just say like a really good pair of embroidery scissors. And I also would say some Kimberbell tape. I absolutely adore the embroidery tape. I think it's amazing. I know there's probably a very long list of things, including, you know, stabilizers and all of that, but I think it just kind of depends on what you're going to be making first. And then you can just kind of grow your collection as you're creating, right? Kind of recommend just buying for the project that you're going to do next, because it's also just a really nice way of growing slow with your collection. Why does this flower look, I think that this was something I weeded out. I was gonna say, why is that flower way out in left field there? Holy guacamole. Okay, I gotta take that off. That was making me giggle. I was like, that's really an interesting part of the design. Okay, so this says cool girls love Jesus. I thought that I would actually, I'm going to heat this up with my Easy Press Mini. I think that's going to be easiest. Plus it'll give us some time to chat. Okay, so I have my heat mat here. I have my Easy Press Mini set to medium. So that's 2 little wavy marks. And I thought that would be just a good choice for this, so I can just heat them individually. Okay, so here are some of the things that I would recommend. So obviously, the Kimberbell starter set, that's, I think, just amazing. So it comes with, I think, 4 scissors. But also I really love the Kimberbell tape. So embroidery tape seems to just be one of my best friends in all aspects of machine embroidery. I love it. So I would recommend that as well. But I think Carly Bell has probably a beginner list of things that you need to buy. So you might want to just head over to her channel. Again, she'll be linked down below, and you can learn a lot about beginning with machine embroidery from her. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of center that in a second, but I'm going to really quickly just preheat my material here. And the next question is, oh, funny enough, who are some of your favorite people to watch on YouTube? So again, I'll link Carly down below. Another favorite of mine is Kathy Zilski. I love watching her stuff. She is someone that when their videos pop up, I am just so happy. And I usually save them for when it's like lunchtime and I get to just really relax and have a nice salad or something and just enjoy her videos. Or after bedtime when I can just sit and just really take in what she's creating. So I love her videos too, and I will link to her down below. There are so many fun people to follow. I just love YouTube for the fact that I can learn so much, and it makes me feel, it doesn't make me feel guilty at all, right? Because I always feel bad if I'm just kind of sitting watching TV, but when I'm sitting and watching YouTube, I'm learning something, and I just it just makes me feel good. I feel like I'm being intentional with my time. Okay, so I am going to center that there. Now see, I did cut this little guy off, but that's okay. My little one is not going to care. In fact, you can hardly notice. Okay, so I'm going to center that there. I kind of go about an inch from this bottom seam for kiddo shirts. And I think that looks good. So I'm going to press that down, but I'm going to take the rest of them off and just do that top layer first. Okay, next question is, for inspiration, do you start with the SVG design or the blank? Okay, honestly, I feel like it's a little bit of both. I like to keep favorites of SVGs. I keep like a list of favorites. And then I also find that I kind of shop my craft space for little blanks that I have laying around. And then I can go into my favorites and see like, oh, this would make a cute shirt or this would make a cute sign. So I kind of want to say equally both. Probably a little bit more on the SVG side, because if I know that I want to, oh, pardon my phone. If I know I want a certain design, then I can kind of shop for the blank that would be perfect for it, if that makes sense. Another one is, where do you find your inspiration from? Honestly, it kind of SVGs. I find that they really inspire me. Another thing I really like to do is just walk the aisles of a craft store, but I will say that that's not where the majority of my inspiration comes from, because the bulk of my channel was created during the pandemic and I was absolutely not in the craft stores at all. So I just kind of find inspiration in the season that I'm in. I really love that we have a beautiful change of season every 3 months-ish, because I find that that's just really refreshing, and I find that I am just kind of re-inspired. It just gives me a little fresh area, right? This one did not have a little middle, just so you know. I didn't miss anything. The next question was, how long does it take you to pick out the font or image for your craft? I would say not too terribly long, especially since Cricut Design Space did come out with that favorites section, and I'll place a link to that video up in the corner where you can kind of create a list of your favorite fonts, because then I can just narrow down really quickly just my favorites and I don't have to scroll through each and every thing, if that makes sense. Okay, I think that looks good. Oh, and then also, actually, I can monitor. I'm just not going to place my heat over this exposed iron-on, if you will. I'm just going to keep it over this. It's clear, so you can't see very well, but this clear carrier sheet, okay? So don't put your heat directly on that. So I would say, I mean, sometimes a little bit longer than others, but kind of getting a list of crafts that I want to do for a certain video kind of takes me the longest. But then actually coming up with the designs is the quick part for me, right? And again, I like to do that stuff during nap time or just sitting on the playroom floor with my laptop when the kids are playing. Gives me some time to do that. That way I can just build in a little bit of planning in those quiet moments. Question number 28 was, you're so creative and talented. Have you always had a creative side to you? I actually have. Funny enough, when I don't know if my mom remembers this, but when I told her that I was going to start a YouTube channel, and I've since then talked her into a Cricut. She now does Cricut and everything too. When I told her that I was going to do this YouTube channel and that I was getting back into cricketing, she said something to the effect of, like, this just makes sense, complete sense. You've just always been a more creative person that needs more heat, and actually need to let that cool. So I don't know, I guess, and nobody knows you like your mama, right? So she just thought that made complete sense, and that she'd kind of seen it for a while now. That, I mean, not necessarily like the YouTube thing, because none of us really saw that, but just the creative side that, you know, I've always kind of been a little bit more on the creative side. So apparently, yes, I have been a little bit more creative for a while. Okay, so number 29, what inspires you? I would say the seasons. I love the changing of seasons, which I just spoke to. But also, if you notice, I try to do like a curated collection of crafts for each video that I do, because I find that I'm more inspired when I craft in that manner. And I just find that I'm most inspired when I can kind of take a theme and run with it. So back to school, or Halloween, or, you know, Christmas, teacher gifts, things like that. When I have a theme or, you know, like a curated idea, I feel like I am inspired the most, right? Because I like things that are going to match one another, and I like things that are going to flow well with one another, and I like creating collections. So I find that ever since I changed kind of my setup on YouTube from just doing like click here, print this, cut this, weed this tutorials, right? I used to just do that, which they were fun. I loved them. That really helped me build my channel. But I find that I'm more inspired when I can just think up a collection of crafts and just craft. And honestly, you're going to get my best self and my best content when I can create like that. Question 30 is, what season is your favorite to craft for? I think it's oh man, I can't answer that. I would say summer is my least favorite. I just feel like there's just not a whole lot to do in the summer. I mean, there is and there isn't, right? But it's my least favorite in that regard. I would say that I love spring because I'm more of a pastel person, and I just love the colors that come with spring. But I also really love fall season. I think it's a tie between fall and spring for me. But Christmas is coming up, and it's going to be so fun. I need to take this off the heat mat, and I think that I'm going to have more success getting this. The heat mat retains so much heat that it takes forever to cool. So if you place this on a cooled surface, you can really draw out that heat so much quicker. Okay, the next question is, how did you come to know Christ? So asking more about my Jesus story. So I actually grew up in faith, and I grew up knowing Jesus, but I feel like I didn't know Jesus until I was an adult, and more specifically about 3 to 4 years ago. And it was actually motherhood that really pointed me back towards my faith and towards deepening my relationship. And I kind of just was in the right place at the right time. I think God led me to a group of mom friends that really helped me reignite my faith journey, and I am forever thankful for that. And I got into a really great Bible study group. I decided that I wanted to have just more of a active faith, and I really wanted to have that relationship with Jesus that I felt like I just wasn't sure that I had yet. So I just started to really take I don't know. I guess I want to say take ownership of my faith. And I started reading my Bible a lot and joining any Bible study that I could. And whether that was doing virtually, I did a lot of virtual Bible studies. And I also did a lot of in-person studies with new groups that I was able to join. And from there, I just realized that, you know, motherhood is hard, right? And I think motherhood was one of the things that pointed me in the direction of, you know, I need something more that is going to give me peace and reassurance, because motherhood comes with a lot of worry. Knowing that I could find that peace and develop a relationship that would give me peace just really changed everything for me. So I have to make sure I'm doing this in the correct direction. So I just went in full on and, learned everything that I could. And again, I grew up knowing Jesus, but I don't know that I had a relationship with Jesus until I was an adult. And at that moment, I decided that I was going to be rebaptized as an adult. And that was one of the best days ever because it was just so special, right? As I just decided that I'm choosing Jesus again and again, and it was just awesome. So thank you for asking. I would say that motherhood just pointed me right back in that direction of showing me that, I needed something. Sometimes you just find in life that you need something that's going to anchor everything, right? And for me, I find that my faith just makes everything so much easier, right? It just it makes motherhood that much more beautiful, and it just makes life everything. So my faith is just everything to me. Okay, my next question is question number 32, and it says, are you done having kiddos? We are. Yes, our littlest was our grand finale boy. And we didn't know we were having a boy. We did not know with any of our children. I forgot to weed out a couple of the little flowers inside. That's okay. Got to chatting. We did not know with any of our children if they were a boy or a girl. My husband was really adamant about wanting to keep that a surprise. And I am very type A. Actually, we're both pretty type A. And so that was really hard for me because I wanted everything planned, and it was the best decision we ever made because he told me, there's very few true surprises in life, right? And this is going to be one of them. And so we decided with our first, we were going to wait, and it was awesome. And so once we had that, it's kind of addicting, right? To like have that true surprise with your first. So we did it with our second and then our third. And we were very surprised with a boy for our third because we just did not know. Although behind the scenes, if I'm being honest with you, I feel like I knew because it was just a very different pregnancy for me. So it just kind of felt like a boy. Plus I had really good hair during my third pregnancy. Like I missed my pregnancy hair with my little boy. It was some good hair. Okay, so yes, grand finale baby. I just feel like we are complete. And the best thing about it is we knew before. So I was able to really get, good closure with going into my last pregnancy and just all the last experiences. Last birth, last pregnancy, last all of it. So it was just a really beautiful journey. Okay, the next question is, what's your favorite filter or preset on your IG, your Instagram posts? They are so pretty. Well, thank you. I actually edit everything by hand, so I don't use filters or presets. I do everything manually. So I do actually have an ebook going back to my photography days. I did create an ebook on how to edit. So if you're interested in learning how to edit your photos, I will link that ebook down below in case you want to learn a little bit more about that. The next question is, did you or do you have a shop of any kind to sell your creations? I actually don't. I have never really been interested in it, and I have always just really enjoyed crafting for myself and for friends and family, or as gifts, right? I don't take orders or anything from friends and family, but I like to create things for others. And I just think that there's just something beautiful about that. Now that I have a YouTube channel, I am able to, make money by sharing what's on my craft table. And that's just a really wonderful, beautiful perk of being able to craft for myself and for friends and family, but also find a way to support, teaching and crafting and creating, which is so nice too. because it just helps, right? Every little bit helps. So the affiliate links that you see down in the description box below, whenever I am sharing all of the things that are in those links and all of the craft supplies that I'm using, I do get a very small commission. They're very small, but it does add up. So if you ever are really enjoying any of the crafts that I'm doing, or if you enjoy my channel in any way, whenever possible, if you could shop those links, it really helps. Every little bit adds up in supporting my channel. But honestly, just having you here and having you watching and commenting and giving a thumbs up also just really helps and supports my channel so I can continue to create and be here crafting with you all. Okay, question 35 was actually really similar, and it says, do you ever consider selling your crafts? And I say no to the no to the no, no, no. I have never, ever wanted to sell. And people do it beautifully and run very, very wonderful businesses. But to me, for me, and this is just speaking for myself, I feel like it would take the fun out of it for me. I love where I'm at in this journey of teaching others, inspiring others, and creating for others. And I feel like if I had the pressure of creating to sell and all that goes with that, with, you know, reviews and shipping and you know, if anything ever happened with a shirt, I would just feel awful. But I just feel like it would just kind of be a little bit too stressful for me, and it would take the fun out of it. And I really am all about keeping things fun when I can. And like I said, because I can be here sharing with you all, it's just a blessing because I can make, you know, a little bit of money helping on YouTube, and you know, every little bit adds up so that I can continue helping and inspiring all of you. Okay, another thing I want to do is I want to do this little notebook, and I have done this on my channel before and really enjoyed it. I found a little foil piece of iron-on, and I'll link the font information down below, but I just spelled out my name, and I did actually weed a lot of this because I wanted to make sure that it was going to read correctly, especially at this small size. But I wanted to just personalize the front of this notebook, and I thought this was going to help me going into the new year because I absolutely love having a space to have a calendar for content. So I will show you the inside of this. I've had this for a while. This came from Target, and let me get all my scrap pieces. But when I opened it up, it only had the months laid out and a lot. So this could last me years and years and years. But look, so everything is just a month, and then they're undated, so I can go ahead and just, you know, write the date in. But look at how many years this is going to last me. But I love this because, what was that? Oh, that was just a little ribbon. I love this because I like to content plan like this because I usually, at this time at least, I like to do Saturdays and either Tuesday or Wednesdays. So I just like to kind of circle those areas and then just fill in what videos are going to go that day. And it just really helps me visually kind of get an idea of where I want to go each month and kind of figure out what curated sets I want to do, which is super fun. So I am going to, let's see, I probably should put some parchment paper on top of that, but I'm just going to be really careful. I'm going to place this right here. And I just wrote out my name, Bethany's Plans. I thought this would be really cute. And I think this is going to be the home for all of my plans for content. So I'm going to be super careful with this and just get that pressed right on there. Okay, the next question is, do you still do bullet journaling? Which is so appropriate because I have a journal here. I didn't plan that. I don't. I really enjoyed it for the very short amount of time that I did it. And I don't want to say that I will never do it again because that's not true. But right now in this season, it's just not working for me. Just the time it takes to set everything up and whatnot. So not right now. I am obsessed with Emily Lay's planners, and I'm also obsessed with Laura Casey's power sheets. I have been using them for 4 to 5 years at least. No, probably 5+ years. And I'm just obsessed. So I found something that just really works for me, and it's hard to do anything different when I like where I'm at, if that makes sense. And the reason I started bullet journaling is because I was using 2 different things. I was using my Power Sheets, which is just a goal planner monthly, which is amazing. It helped me achieve so much. And I had that planner plus my daily planner. And so the reason I wanted to do bullet journaling was because I felt like I could consolidate it all into one space. But I just realized that even though they were individual pieces, they worked so well that I just couldn't get myself to move past it. Okay, the next thing was, can you share your nail color? This is the most popular question that I get. Yes, I will share my nail color. Now, today, I actually have something brand new on today. Let me find it. Okay, so today I have Olive in June, and I'll link these down below. I have Olive in June GH is the nail color, and I have the top coat on, and I have to say I'm super impressed. It's a little bit lighter than what I'm used to. It's a little bit more pale than what I'm used to, but I'm really impressed with the top coat. The shine is just beautiful, and Kathy Zilski talked me into these because her nails always look so great. But I have to tell you, 99% of the time on my channel, this is what I'm wearing. I found this at Dollar Tree and I purchased like 15 bottles of it. It is $5.27. I don't even know how I stumbled upon this, but it's a good polish. At least I like it. And it's this LA Colors 527. And listen, when you find something you like, you find something you like. I don't remember how I stumbled upon this. I actually used to get my nails done all the time. And then when the pandemic started, of course, I wasn't doing that anymore. And I can paint my own nails just fine. I've been painting my own nails for years. But getting my nails done was just a way that I always built in time for myself on the weekends, if that makes sense. Oh my gosh, I can't get this carrier sheet up. So I always did that. Oh, that laid down nice. But then of course, during the pandemic, I just wasn't comfortable doing that. It was something easy to say no to. That looks so cute. And so I decided to kind of shop around for something that, I could do on my own. And I must have stumbled upon it then. Another one that I like, but I don't remember the actual nail color, is by Ella and Mila, which is, they sell it at Target, but I can't remember what color it is. But there you go. That is the pressing question, is my nails. Everyone always wants to know what my nails are like. It's so funny. Okay, the next question is, another nails question. How do you keep your fingernails looking so good? I paint my nails the night before I film. My fingernails do not always look this good. In real life, there's usually a chip or, I'm changing diapers all day and I'm a mommy. So they never always look this good, but I always try to make them look extra good for all of you. Okay. The next question was, I really like your add to cart mug. Where did you find it? So this is actually the mug that someone is asking about. It says it's an add to cart kind of day. It's one of my favorites, and I love the pink inside. Plus it has this little ripply edge. It's so pretty. I actually found this at Hobby Lobby. Yep, Hobby Lobby. I love it. I found it probably this year. I want to say it was this year because I think I did it in one of my Hobby Lobby hauls. My weakness is mugs. In fact, my husband has a rule that if a mug comes in, a mug must go out, which is so heartbreaking, but I totally understand why, because I would just fill my entire kitchen with mugs. But this one is going to be around a while because I love it and I love the size of it. It's just awesome. But everybody thinks I've made this. Well, not everybody thinks I've made it, but I guess it's easy to think that I made it because I do make a lot of mugs. But nope, I purchased that and it's one of my favorites. Okay, so I recently made my daughter a monogrammed hat, and you know me if you've been around my channel for even 2 hours. I love to monogram things. And now knowing my backstory of why I started with my Cricut, you know that monogramming was one of the things that sold the machine for me. So I've had this pattern iron-on for a while, and I thought it would be fun to do a monogram with it. And thank goodness this has a sticky carrier sheet so that I can get this to lay down really nice on the hat. Okay, hopefully this doesn't become a stinker. There we go. Okay, so I just made my monogram and we're going to place this on the hat. Okay, so another question is, what's next on your craft hobby list you want to explore? Honestly, I don't have anything right now. And I love learning new things. But I really feel I'm where I need to be right now, especially since bringing paper crafting back to my channel, or to my channel, back into my life, I should say, because I feel like my whole journey with crafting started with paper crafting years ago. But I just feel like ever since I brought the paper crafting back and introduced it back into my everyday, I feel content. And I don't know how long that's going to last for, because again, I really love to learn and do new things. But right now, everything just feels intentional and where it should be. Okay, oh, that's neat. You never know when to weed, like where it's all gonna end up. That is cute. I like that. Now, what I might do is I might trim these apart and iron them down separately, because honestly, it's just easier for me. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to start with the D, find true center, and do that. Okay, so let me bring in a towel. And I like to just use a towel to create like a base, if you will. It's just a regular hand towel. And it just gives some shape to this hat, if you will, right? Now I also want my lint roller. Okay. And I'm only going to focus right here in the center part first, because that's where my first little letter is going to go. Okay. Preheating. And I'm also just going to place my hand in there, not right under, but under the towel, just to give that some shape. And I'll place my D down. Oh, how cute is that? And it's really easy with the seam to line it up. And I might go just a little bit that way. And I think that looks really good. I could bring in some heat tape to secure that, but I think I might be okay. Okay. I am going to, oh, maybe, come on. Once I start ironing it down, it will stay. And this goes down quick. Now, usually I like to do like a glitter for this, but I thought I would try just kind of more of a solid, I mean, it's a pattern, but you know, not a textured iron on. The glitter kind of has a little bit more of a texture, which kind of makes it thicker and makes it a little bit more forgiving for shapes like this, but I kind of thought that the pattern would be really fun. Okay, another question is, are you going to get a glow forge? Again, I don't ever like to say that I'm never going to do something, but I will be honest and tell you that I have tried to talk myself into a glow forge countless times. And every time I try to, I talk myself out of it in like 2 minutes. I just think, and I can only speak for myself, I don't think I would use it as much as one would think. And I think people ask me that because I've said I do not like cutting wood on my Cricut machine. I just don't. It's not fun for me. The process is way too long. So naturally, I think a lot of people think a glow forge is the next step. But honestly, no, I don't see myself investing in it. Again, never say never. I could, a few years down the line, you guys could remind me, remember when you said you would never get a glow forge? But at this time, I just don't see me using it a lot or justifying the expense of it. Okay, I'm going to peel that up. That looks so good. Okay, and then I'm just going to go to the left and right. I think I'll just go to the right next. And I like them separate because I just feel like I can have more control over their placement, if that makes sense. And I'm just going to be careful not to place my heat on this exposed iron-on part. But if I just tap that down, there we go, then I can make sure I like it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I think the next question is, where is your favorite place to buy pattern vinyl? Honestly, I like to buy it kind of a lot of places, but I will say a lot of the pattern vinyl that you see on my channel comes from Expressions Vinyl. I haven't done an order in a really, really long time, probably at least a year and a half to 2 years, because I kind of had a lot, so I didn't need any more. But that is where I got the bulk of my pattern vinyl from. I think they have some really, really fun prints. Okay, I'm just going to do this other side. In fact, I believe this pattern is from there as well. Okay, let me get this one done and we'll be all done. Okay, there it is. It looks so fun. I love that. I love the textures of the, well, I guess the visual texture, I guess you could say, with the pattern. But I think that's super fun. I like it. It's going to be super cute with a pair of skinny jeans and a white shirt. Okay, we have done a lot of iron-on crafts, and that was not intentional. I guess I just had a lot of iron-on things on my list. But let's go ahead and do an adhesive vinyl craft. And actually, the question that's next is, what are your favorite crafty hacks? You know, I don't find myself to be, you know, having a lot of hacks, if you will, but I will say, and you'll see me do it in a moment, that burnishing the front and back of the transfer tape and this little liner when peeling away the adhesive vinyl really helps just make everything just work so much better. It's something that I added. And I'm not sure if it's really a hack, or if it's just a workflow thing, but it's something that I do religiously on my projects because it works so well. So taking my time, and I'm trying to remember what this says. Oh, I need the little dot to my eye here. I think it says, if you love me, bring me coffee, which I love that. Okay. I think it's so cute. I think this would be so cute by a little coffee bar, right? So cute. I got this little blank here from Dollar Tree. In fact, in last weekend's video, which so many of you loved that video, it just went crazy. I showed 12 things that I got at the Dollar Tree that I think every crafter needs to go buy. So I'll link that video for you in case you missed it, because it was really, really fun to do. In fact, I went to Dollar Tree earlier today to see if I could come up with some additional inspiration, and I do have some coming up. So I found this blank there recently, not on this trip today, but they also have this in a whiteboard look as well, which is super, super cute as well, which we did in the video last weekend. So super fun. If you missed it, go check it out. You don't want to miss that one. Okay, getting all these little pieces weeded out. This is a fun design. So cute, and I think it's naturally going to look so nice on a chalkboard. Okay, I think we're actually almost done with these questions. I'm so excited. And I'm so grateful that so many of you had asked so many questions, and this was super, super fun. So be sure you're following me over on Instagram, because if I do this again, I'll probably do this again within the year, because these were fun. And it's nice to also know the things that you have questions about, because then I can speak to those a little bit more in those tutorials, if that makes sense. So follow me over there, because that's where I like to host things like this. It just makes it easier on myself. So bringing in a little rubbing alcohol, and we're going to talk about that quote unquote hack, I suppose. This is just a little rubbing alcohol spray bottle. Actually, it's a spray bottle that I put rubbing alcohol in. It's not necessarily for that. In fact, I bought these in a 2-pack during the pandemic when I decided to trim my little girl's hair, which, let me tell you, I can give a good haircut. I was impressed. But I also was very happy to give that job back to our hairdresser. Okay, having some transfer tape. I'll lay my transfer tape right over my design here. Ooh, really crooked, but that's okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, so my favorite thing to do, because adhesive vinyl can really either make you have fun with crafting or make you want to run away from crafting, because sometimes people really struggle with transfer tape. So I will tell you, make sure you have good transfer tape. I'll link this down below. It's by far some of the best transfer tape I've ever worked with, and I hope to work with this for a very long time because it's awesome. But also, burnishing the front and the back is so important. It just really helps ensure that everything meets up so nicely so that when you go to peel this away, it just comes off so nice. Oh, how polite that it actually was behaving. Wouldn't that be embarrassing if it didn't? Okay, so now, oh goodness. Okay, another hack that I really like, though, I'll link that video, is the parchment paper method. I love using parchment paper to help me line up things. I don't do it all the time just because, number one, I can kind of just be crafting in a hurry and want to get things done. And also, one of my superpowers, and I don't have a lot, but one of my superpowers is alignment and centering. So usually I can just get by without that, but it is definitely a great hack for particular projects that I really like. Okay, there we go. This one was a little tricky just because the outline was, you know, as you can see, kind of going every which way. But I think it looks good. Peeling that transfer tape off, and there is the final look. Oh, I think that's so cute. So cute for a little coffee bar too. I think that's so fun. So another question was, where did you get your pink tape dispenser? I'll be sure to link this down below. I love it so much. And it's just a nice heavy duty tape dispenser. And I've used it for quite a while. It's a very good one. Okay, so earlier I was talking about having a little space in my craft area for my kiddos to come. This could be a disaster, but I'm just gonna see if it'll work. I have a little space and a little bar stool area on a crafting island where my kids can come down, and I have just little things set aside for them to craft with. And it really is nice because we can just have fun, chit chat. They can be creative, I can be creative. Again, those are times when I can either be content planning or editing a video or doing something that I can easily multitask with, because then I feel like I can be super present and silly and fun with whatever they're doing, but also I can get a couple things done. And it's also, I think, important for kiddos to see, you know, a parent working too, right? I think it also just shows them, you know, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I think it's important for kids to see, you know, you achieving your goals too, right? Right alongside them. And it just brings out fun conversation of, you know, how you have interests as well, and how you stay determined. And I think those are good qualities for children to see too. So I thought it'd be fun to add a little vinyl to this. Ooh, my lights just went a little dark for a second. And I thought it'd be fun to say, let's color. And I'll link the font information down below. I just think that's so cute. Okay, this is actually a little bit big, so I can trim this down. But just using some adhesive vinyl. And I've had this bin for a very long time. It's a Hearth and Hand, which is Joanna Gaines. And I love it. I got it at Target a long time ago. And we've always kind of used it to house coloring things. and it just does a great job in my little space. Okay, so let's burnish the front and back once more and get this decorated. Have a blank surface. I feel like it must have vinyl. It's just the way I craft. Okay. So there's also a question about my new marker storage, and I do have a big video coming up about how I am approaching organization for my paper crafting. And so I'm going to be doing a lot of inspiration for storage in that video, but I will link my new marker storage down below for you because I know many people have been curious about my brand new marker storage. Okay, so these are my new towers for marker storage. I have 3 of them and I will link them down below. I also think that I do have a coupon code for you to use. So go ahead and if the coupon code is active, it'll be down in the description box below for you to use. And this is just a super really nice way to store my alcohol markers. So it sits like this so that they are nice and angled. I love them. Again, I have 3 and you can see them in my intro in my little background. I just keep them up on my shelf. So I'll link them down below in case you want to shop them and add them to your craft space as well. Okay, another question that I had was, what are your must-haves for card making? And as you know, I have been having so much fun bringing paper crafting to my channel, especially in the form of cards. It's honestly where my heart is right now. I'm having so much fun. And as I spoke to earlier, I will always bring stuff to my channel. I like the fact that my channel will always be really organic to who I am as a person and also what I am truly inspired with. So if I am doing something at my craft table and I'm kind of running in a certain direction, you can, ooh, this is really not, I'm gonna want to stay down for a second. Just know that when I'm able to do the things that are truly inspiring to me in the moment, you're going to get the best crafter out of me, because naturally we create our best work when we are in our, when we are super inspired, if that makes sense. So I know sometimes people get really nervous when they don't see Cricut stuff day in and day out on my channel, and a lot of people just want me to do Cricut, but that's just not realistic for me. I love my Cricut, but I also, like I've always mentioned, I like going to other parts of the craft store. I like to do a variety of things, and I like to keep myself inspired, because if I'm not inspired, then I'm not creating videos. So I just wanted to kind of speak to that as well, that yes, you will see me doing a variety of things on my channel, but it's really important to me that I follow where my current passions are. Because if I don't get inspired, or if I don't remain passionate, then I don't have a channel. I don't have anything to bring, right? So it's just really important to me that I stay true to myself and always follow what I truly want to do. Okay, that did not want to stick down, but once it's down, it'll just kind of cure and be just fine. So I love how that looks. It's so fresh and pretty. I love the font, and I think it's just going to be a cute little area. Of course, I've had this area for a while, but it's going to be a cute little area for, woo, their little pens to be. Little pens, markers. We love gel pens around here. So fun. But how cute is that? I think it's cute and so inviting. Okay, so let's go back to must-haves for card making, and I'm going to do a couple additional shirts here because I need to get these shirts out of my craft room and into the closet. So I have a really fun, I think I actually need to rearrange this on the shirt, but I have a really cute little design that I've had saved for a while. So the question I need to circle back to is, what are must-haves for card making? And I would say that the things that I use the most are my Misty stamping tool, which I'll link down below. And I also really think that a good paper trimmer is a must. I use my paper trimmer all the time. And I would say really, really good cardstock. And from there, you can, you know, decide, do you want to do more stamping? Do you want to do more die cutting? Anything like that. But I will say that, you know, a Misty, especially if you want to go the stamping route, a good paper trimmer, good cardstock. I just got the Gemini Junior. I don't know if I can pull it in. It's so cute. And she's so sweet. I love her so much. But I just went electric. I love my spellbinders, but I went electric. And I would say a nice die cutting machine that you really, really love is just going to be so beneficial. So I love both my spellbinders and my Gemini so much. I've been really, really happy with both of them. And I love them for different reasons. I love the electronic because I can just obviously just place my plates in there and it just does the work for me. But I also love my spellbinders so much. And I love the hot foil system that's with it. So it's just a wonderful, wonderful machine. And just because I got the Gemini doesn't mean I won't be using the spellbinders as well, because I feel like they both kind of serve their purpose. Okay, so I need to cut this out. I love this. I actually have made a Not Today Satan shirt before, but it's been a while. You know what? There was also another question. I think I forgot to write it down, but there was another question about iron-on and which iron-on, what was it? Which iron-on, I don't know why I forgot to write that down. Which iron-on do you recommend over another for, I think, longevity? And honestly, I've never found a difference in the iron-on in terms of how long it lasts. So I like to do the Caesar Easy Weed, but I don't do it for the longevity of it because I haven't ever had problems with any of the iron-ons ever failing. And honestly, my kiddos, again, I craft for myself and the kids and for friends and family. I feel like the kiddos either grow out of it or the shirt fails before the iron-on will, if that makes sense. And maybe not the shirt fails, but I feel like the kids grow out of it long before the iron-on is going to go bad. I don't know. I've never had problems with that. Okay. And then the other one I want to do is this cute pink one, and then I'll just press them at the same time. Okay. So just have this, you know me, I got to do, my little one grew out of her little monogrammed shirt. So I said, Mommy has a Cricut. A new monogram shirt will be ready for school tomorrow. So I have this cute pattern iron-on that I really needed to finish up. I kind of felt like I had just a little bit of this roll left for a very long time. Do you ever kind of feel like, and I mean this in a nice way, but do you ever feel like you're kind of sick of looking at certain craft supplies and you kind of use them because you're just, I don't want to open that drawer one more time and see them, right? I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but sometimes I open a drawer and I think I've got to use that roll because I just can't look at it anymore. And I love this. There's nothing that I don't love about it. I just, yeah, I want to see it used. I don't want to see it sitting there anymore. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and press both of these on, and then we'll finish up with a garden flag. Okay, so that one turned out so cute. I love the pattern on the pink shirt. I think that's so cute. So done, ready to go. And then this one I'm just letting cool down a little bit more. Again, just placing it on that cool surface really, really helps. Okay, we are on to the last craft in just a moment, and the last probably 5 questions. Oh my gosh, so fun. This has been so just fun to sit back and answer some of the questions that you've been having. So thanks so much for asking them, and I hope you're enjoying this as well. And okay, let me know if you're still there. Leave a, let's do a yellow heart. I love the yellow heart. It's just so cute. So leave a yellow heart if you're still watching. I know you are though, because y'all are just so fun. Okay, so there's this one as well. I love that. I love this blue, and I think this is a fun design for a lower neck shirt because, or like a V-neck shirt, because it's just a thin design, right? Like it's pretty short, so it's not going to go all the way down. I feel like it just stops at a nice spot here. So I really like that. It's so cute, and I really needed to do a new shirt for myself. So I love how that turned out. Okay, I'm gonna finish up with a garden flag and the last 5 questions, and we'll be all done. Okay, so crafting first for me. This is the first time that I've ever sized something way too big for my design. So I have this garden flag. I'll link everything that I'm using down below, but I don't know what I was thinking. I'm not sure if I was just, I guess I just wasn't thinking, but I sized this way too big. So I don't know what I was doing, but you know, that's okay. We all have those moments, and I'm having mine. So at the time of recording this, it is a few days, or about a week before Halloween, and I realized I didn't have a Halloween garden flag, and I was decorating the porch, and I really liked how everything was coming together, but I just wanted one more little element, and I have a little blank flag in my craft space. I actually have quite a few, so it was an easy decision to just put this on the craft list to get done. So I had a little bit of vinyl left, so forgive me, this is sized way too big, but what I ended up doing was I also ended up cutting out some additional bats, because I'm wondering if I can just kind of fill in some of the other space. We'll see. We'll see. I'll walk you through it as I go. Okay, another thing that, okay, we did must-haves for card making. Another question was, can you do a shaker card on Thanksgiving Day? I will be doing a shaker card for Thanksgiving. I probably won't be doing it on Thanksgiving Day, but I do have plans to make a Thanksgiving shaker card. In fact, my supplies just arrived yesterday for it, so look out for that soon. Shaker cards have been where it's at for me lately. I just love making them. Okay, so this says Home Sweet Haunted Home. Again, oh, it's like that. You know, it's not too bad, actually. It's not too bad. I mean, it is a little big, but I don't think it's going to look awful. Okay, the next question was, can you explain the difference in cardstock weight and thickness and how you use them in your cards? Okay, so I use 2 different thicknesses, and one is 80 pound and one is 110 pound. So 80 pound is what I use for all of my panels, right? So that's pretty much what I'm just using to do the decoration part. And then 110 pound, which is thicker. So 80 pound is a little bit thinner. 110 pound is just a little bit thicker. And honestly, the 110 pound is so amazing. They're both amazing, but oh my goodness, I love the 110 pound. The 110 pound I save for my card bases, so the actual card that folds, if you will. Let me grab a card. It might help to have a visual. Okay, so this is a card that I recently made, and I used 80 pound for the front panel, so this part that I decorated, plus I used 80 pound cardstock for my little stamped images, I believe. And then 110 pound I saved for the card base, because it's just so nice and substantial, and it's nice and thick, and it's also just strong enough to take on a little bit more weight that comes from adding a panel or 2 to the front. So I hope that helps. I really, really love both 110 pound and the 80 pound, and I'll link the cardstock that I really love in the description box below the video. Okay, the next question was, you mentioned that you used to scrapbook a lot. Do you think you'll ever get back into it? In this season, no, especially not with kids. I've actually really learned to love making really nice albums through Artifact Uprising, and I'll link the albums that I really love down below. I just think that they do a beautiful job. They make really nice linen books that have they're almost like a cardboard page on the inside. And I just really love the simplicity of it. Plus, I just feel like in this chapter of motherhood, I just do not have time to dedicate to scrapbooking. And honestly, I really feel like that was a chapter in my life that was beautiful and fun. But once I kind of, I don't want to say gave it up, but once I stopped creating them, I never really missed it, if that makes sense. And so I find that the card making may be kind of my way of enjoying that element of paper crafting, but without doing the scrapbooking part, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? So I kind of feel like card making is kind of a form of scrapbooking on a smaller level, right? You're given like a tiny little surface area to enjoy. Okay, the only reason why I'm bringing in this additional collection of bats is because I felt like, okay, I sized this too big. In fact, it doesn't look too bad, but I kind of felt like it was all just like really bulky here, and then there was just kind of nothing else. So I think what I'm gonna do is, I should pre-press this, but I think I'm just going to be a rebel and not. And I'm just going to press this down. I'm going to get it all where I want it to go. And then I think I'll just place a couple additional bats on there. How does that look? Does that look good? It looks a little crooked. Okay. So yes, I don't know that I don't know. I kind of feel like once you've stopped a hobby, if you kind of don't miss it, then it's kind of, I don't know, maybe not something that I'm craving anymore. But always thankful. I mean, there were so many memories. My husband, he remembers so many fun memories of me scrapbooking. It just was just a fun time. I always was doing it at our dining room table. I would pull out it was called a Fat Mats, and you got them at Home Depot, and it was a rolling tool chest, and I would just park that baby at the dining room table, open it up, and I think the additional bats is the right choice. I would open it up, and I think angels kind of sang when I opened it up, if I remember correctly. And it was just, I don't know, just a fun time. Got a lot of memory making done. Plus, I feel like I took in our experiences a little bit more richly, because if that makes sense, is richly even a word? I think I experienced our travels and, you know, our memories in a different way because I was memory making, if that makes sense. And I don't know, because I knew that later on I'd want the photo, but I'm a picture taker. Even though I'm not scrapbooking, I am a picture taker. In fact, you would be astonished with how many pictures are on my phone. It's just, I take pictures of everything. But that's the photographer and mommy in me. Okay, I'm loving where this is going. And then I think I'm just going to do one more, especially because these are both big. So maybe just making sure I don't lay it on that carrier sheet. I think this was the right choice. Home Sweet Haunted Home. I think that's fun. Okay. Initially, I was kind of thinking, well, I'll just tell them, sorry, this didn't turn out very nice, but I'm actually liking it. I think it's cute. I don't think the sizing completely ruined it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just press these on. We have a couple more questions, and then it's time to clean up the craft room. Okay, while I'm waiting for that to cool, I did have a question about my label maker and wanting, let's see, the question is, can you show how you label things with your pink label maker? So this is my label maker. I love it. I'll link it down below. It works so well, and I purchased it and invested in it when I started getting into card making. So it's very easy to use. You just turn it on, type what you want out, and print. And I really like it to put the company name and the item name on these little pockets. So I have additional magnetic sheets on the back to hold the coordinating dies because I do like to invest in those. But in the front, I have just the little label. That way I can organize, and when I am sharing, I can easily know which items to link and which items to share with you all. Another way that I use the label maker is I purchased this really fun little binder, and I use it for my stencils. So I just place the stencils into these little sleeves, but again, respectfully, I put the company name or the designer name and the name of the product on each of the little stencils. So it just really helps me to remember each and everything that I'm using, because my goodness, there are so many different products, and this is just a really easy way for me to be able to quickly see which product I'm using, and it's just a really fun organization system that I have found is working for me right now. So I can't remember exactly who I was inspired by. I feel like so many people do this kind of system. Probably Kathy Zilski was who I first saw it from, and I've just really enjoyed this little setup. Okay, and then the final question of the evening is, why did you decide to add cards to your channel projects? And honestly, I kind of feel like I've talked about this a little bit on, well, maybe not necessarily this question, but I feel like I've kind of talked a little bit about it here and there as we have just been chit-chatting this evening. But I just was really excited to learn something new. I had never really been into card making at this level. I've done cards here and there, but not with all of the stamps and the inks and stuff like this. And again, being a learner, I just was really excited to learn something new. Plus, again, able to really tap back into paper crafting. I felt like that was just a beautiful way to come full circle with how I kind of started way back when, right? And I've enjoyed every second of it, and I've really just enjoyed what it's done for me. I love learning new things, and one of the best things about card making is that when you're done, you have a tiny little project that you can really brighten someone's day with. And I love that, because I feel like with a lot of the projects I do, everything's so big and bulky, and then, you know, there comes the cost of shipping it, or, you know, stuff like that. I mean, that kind of stuff is, I mean, it does add up. But when you have a card, you spend all this little time on this tiny little piece of paper and this little tiny surface area, and then you, in the end, just quickly run it out to the mailbox. I absolutely adore that. And really, it doesn't take much, right, to brighten someone's day. And I think cards are just a wonderful way to really bless other people. So I hope you've been enjoying it as much as I have, because it's something that I feel is really filling my cup lately. And one thing that I love even more about it than being able just to place it right in the mail is that it is so relaxing to do. And as a mama, I feel like there are few things that really allow us to just be still and focus. And I love the opportunity to just be still with card making. I can just sit and focus on a small little surface area, and there's just something so beautifully humble about that. So many fun crafts and so many fun questions. I can't thank you enough. This was super fun to put together. And it was just nice to be able to really slow down with crafting and just to answer some of the questions that have been on your hearts. So thank you so much for asking, and thank you so much for watching. This has been a long time coming. I feel like I probably should have done a Q&A sooner, and I hope to do another one maybe next year. So As always, be sure to check out the description box if you want a closer look at any of the products that I used in creating some of these items. I think my favorite were Cool Girls Love Jesus. I love that. I think I might make this for myself as well. And I'm really, really loving this monogrammed hat as well. It's so cute. But this reverse canvas might be my favorite. I've been wanting to make this for so long, and I'm really excited that not only did I get to use this design that I've been wanting to use, but I also was able to use this canvas that has been in my craft room forever. All right, everyone, be sure to give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I sure hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about me or getting some of your questions answered along the way. And starting next week, we are going to start, I think, 2 weeks in a row of crafting for Thanksgiving. I think I'm only going to do Thanksgiving for a short amount of time, and not because there isn't enough ideas, but we just have such a short amount of time before Christmas starts, and I really think that I need to place a lot of focus on the Christmas season. So you know me, I don't like to rush my holidays, but I think I'm going to do a couple weeks of Thanksgiving inspiration, and then we're just going to really get into fa la 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 la. All right, everyone, hopefully you enjoyed this. Please be sure to leave a comment down below, and thank you so much for watching.